think I'm about done waiting for you to get us ready here. So
What can I say? I'm a big fan of change and John Mayer.
yeah, that's clear. I do like John Mayer though, to be fair, and not to poke too much fun at you. It's a great song to get us started today, especially with the themes that we've been talking about with challenging pre-existing ideas and trying to change, trying to change the world. We're no longer just waiting for the world to change. However, we are beginning to make these changes ourselves and beginning to make the world a better place.
That's right. Keep challenging pre-existing ideas. What you see here in front of us is our objective. And we're going to have 3 computer side chats this unit, and we'll keep coming back to this. It's very important that you guys are focused on the objective after this unit, what it is. But we want you to identify how the use of reason was used to discover natural laws within society and government. Mr. Armstrong, what do you want to clarify with this? Because this is kind of a tricky objective.
I just kind of want to remind us here, this isn't extremely new, right? We talked last unit about Descartes, where he came up with this, the idea of rationalism and reason. So it's really building off of his ideas. And I talked a lot with the students about how the scientific revolution, they were really looking at using the scientific method to look at the planets and the stars and the universe. And then Descartes comes around and says, let's take the same concepts, let's look at other things in life the same way that these scientists are looking at the universe, in terms of there needs to be a logical explanation, there needs to be reason, there needs to be proof for what it is we're believing.
So basically what you're saying is that the scientists of the scientific revolution were the first ones to challenge these pre-existing ideas, but Descartes gives us the mindset to question other fields, maybe like society and government. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I think that summarizes it very well.
And the only other thing that I'd like to spend a little time on is natural laws and the idea of natural laws. It might sound new to you, but we've actually had practice with natural laws. The big one from the previous unit was the scientific revolution, and that was Isaac Newton. And so his natural laws were the laws of gravity, right? And the one thing to remember with natural laws is that no matter where you're at in the world, those natural laws always exist.
No matter where you are in the world, what goes up must come down.
Yeah. So we're going to try to find those in society and government, and where natural laws are based in, of science and data and real hard numbers. Society and government, there's a lot of ideas and philosophies out there. So it's going to be a tricky fit, but we're going to do our best over the next 2 weeks to make that happen.
Awesome. So before we, to get us started here, we're going to emphasize the focus of the Enlightenment. And we talked about this the other day in class, and also within your homework assignment, of the 2 main focuses being what, Mr. Williams? You say them all right. How's that sound?
Sure. The 2 main focuses are limiting government power, and then the second would be expanding individual rights. And those 2 are obviously connected and have a relationship. The more you limit government, the more rights you have as an individual. And it's important as we go through this unit not to lose focus of that.
And, with the homework assignment that you guys, or the task that we're asking you to do at the beginning here, is for you to look at how these elements, or how these 2 these 2 points of the Enlightenment are still being debated and fought over in today's world. So, yeah, hopefully you'll find some good examples of these things in today's world, and that'll help everything make a little more sense with why we're here and why we're learning about this.
Absolutely. Just to piggyback on that a little bit, I think we need to show appreciation for the Enlightenment philosophers for starting that battle, and it's a battle that we're going to be fighting for a long time, as you guys probably found in the current events.
All right. Next here, we're neither one of us are big date guys that we would expect you to memorize exactly when this event or that event took place. But we do think it's important for you to have some context as to what happened first and how what may have led into other things, and so forth. So,
Mr. Armstrong, I'm sorry, I have a question here.
sure.
Tell me about this timeline. Why doesn't the scientific revolution start after the Renaissance and Reformation and then before? It looks like there's some overlapping here.
That's a great question. I saw this a lot with my 7th grade students when I was teaching 7th grade, that a lot of times students think that these items happen with like an absolute certainty, right? So the scientific revolution starts exactly on this day and it ends exactly on this day. But in actuality, that's not how things occur. So, any time we go to make a big change in society or really with anything in life, there's always going to be this overlay, right? So items that the Renaissance and Reformation people are doing overlays with stuff that the scientific revolution's doing, because they're building upon the idea and helping push and move us forward. So that's why there's an overlap with pretty much all of these concepts. There is an overlap with the Middle Ages. It's just not quite as evident in my timeline that I created here for you.
Gotcha. It makes perfect sense, but I think it's easy for us when we get to a unit only to stay in one thing at a time so that you can fully dive in and comprehend.
Absolutely. All right, so there is this glorious, so before I start the Glorious Revolution, we have a couple items down here, right, the Magna Carta and the Glorious Revolution. We've talked a little bit about the Magna Carta already, but we're going to spend just another minute or two on it. The big idea with the Magna Carta, the goal for the Magna Carta was to try and limit the government's power and to do what, Mr. Williams?
I'm guessing to expand individual rights.
That is a fantastic guess.
Geez, that sounds like the Enlightenment a lot, even though the Magna Carta was 400 years prior.
Yeah, so the ideas of the Magna Carta is very similar, if not identical, to the ideas of the Enlightenment. The Magna Carta was mostly that, though. It was an idea, right? King John didn't even sign the Magna Carta because he wanted to be able to say a week later, I never signed that, so I don't have to do it. A lot of people actually think that he didn't sign it because he didn't know how to write, but that's a myth. He did know how to write. He just wanted to be able to say, nope, never signed it. I don't have to follow it because I don't want to. So that leads us to the revolution that was actually successful. And Mr. Williams, I'm going to let you take off from here.
Well, when it comes to the Enlightenment, I think the perfect example is the Glorious Revolution. If you remember in the timeline, that was 1688, right at the beginning of the Enlightenment. And overall, the Glorious Revolution, it limits government and then also expanding individual rights. To make a long story short, the country was very divided between Catholics and Protestants, and a Catholic king had a male heir, and they really felt like they were going to be under Catholicism or a Catholic power for a very long time. So they invited William and Mary of Orange to come over and to be the new king and queen.
Wait, where's Orange?
Modern day Netherlands, and that's also why they wear orange jerseys during the World Cup or any soccer match for the soccer fans out there.
Awesome.
But they invite William and Mary to take the throne, but wait a minute, these aren't the days of the absolute monarch. They're going to have to sign off on a constitution that limits their power. And so what ends up happening is limited government power, expanded individual rights. This is the perfect example of the Enlightenment. And England is now a constitutional monarchy, which some of us would argue it still is today.
So they took the idea of the Magna Carta, or of what the Magna Carta was supposed to do, didn't do, and this is actually making it work, making it go in place.
Absolutely. So this is what the Magna Carta really should have done in functionality. But the only other thing I would probably touch on with the Glorious Revolution, is we can go to the next slide, is that it was peaceful, it was a bloodless overthrow, and I guess what better way to end, since we start with music, to help reemphasize that the Glorious Revolution was bloodless. Anything else before I leave with some music here?
Nope, I'm just going to let you do it.
We've had some fun, kids. Thank you.